Diamonds in the rough. NFL Draft Diamonds. Time to shine.
Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and today I have with me a diamond in the rough. His name is Eagan Lickiss. He's an offensive lineman out of South Dakota State. Nice to have you on, buddy.
Thanks for having me, Jimmy. I appreciate it a lot.
Sure, buddy. If people don't know, South Dakota State football, really one of the premier football programs in the FCS. Solid team out there. But I do want to get a chance to meet you. So go ahead and give us a background about you. Where you're from and how you ultimately got there to South Dakota State.
Yeah, originally I'm from Indianola, Iowa. I guess I was born in Washington, out in Coopville, Washington. My family was a Navy family, so I was born in Washington. Then moved back home to Indianola, Iowa, which is my parents' hometown. Grew up there. Graduated high school in 2017. In high school, I was a 3-sport athlete: track, wrestling, football. I did music. I was in the high school musicals, a cappella choir, all-state honor choir. Well-rounded. I did a lot of stuff in high school. I was a busy guy. My sophomore year of high school, I spent a lot of time getting recruited by Iowa State under Coach Paul Rhodes. That fell off after he lost his job there. But then my junior year, South Dakota State came around a little bit, started getting looked at by those FCS teams in northern Iowa. South Dakota State, they came hard, though. Coach Clinton Brown at the time, he was our defensive coordinator for a little while. He recruited me in high school along with Coach Jason Eck. They looked at me a lot through track and wrestling. Then my whole senior year, I was going on visits, it was a great time up there. Things were really trending in an upwards direction with the program at the time. My recruiting class was actually the largest in school history. They brought in 30 guys. I can't remember how many of us there were, 30, 32. Big class. But of course, I was watching football games with Dallas Goedert and Jake Winicki and Terran Christian, those guys. So got to be a part of a really, really great program. And my class, we took it a long way in my time there.
Yeah, again, really a solid program out there. What about you there on the offensive line? What positions have you played there on the offensive line?
Oh, predominantly I played guard. Right guard is where I got a majority of my starts. Since my freshman year, over 5 seasons, I was at every game, didn't miss a single game, played in every game. I think it's 65 games total. Starting for over half of them. I believe it's 32, 35 games I started at right guard. But I've played every position. My freshman year, I played as a true freshman. I was playing tackle for the most of my freshman year, and then I transitioned to guard my sophomore year. Injuries happened. I got my first start against North Dakota State up in the Fargo Dome my sophomore year. Started almost every game the second half of that season. I missed maybe 2 of them because our injured player, he came back for a little bit, but then I finished the season starting there. 2019 then started the whole season except for 2 games at the end. And then, of course, when the COVID year happened, we got that extra spring season in, started all 10 games there. National championship run. Every year that I've been on the team, we've been in quarters or semis or the national championship game. It's been a great run. And then, of course, the 2020 fall fell short in semis against Montana State, but started over half of that season as well.
Yeah, but like you said, you guys are always in the running for really, for championship season. Obviously, very, very, very tough conference there, butting heads with the best in the FCS. So let's talk about you. So you were saying a little bit about again a guy playing it more or less as right guard for most of your career. But you do have experience like elsewhere along that offensive line.
Yes, sir. I played a couple reps at tackle and a few reps at center here and there.
Okay. Well, what do you feel separates you as a prospect? You have a guy who has a lot of experience there. Do you feel like that's part of what you bring to the table, or how would you define yourself as a prospect?
I think one of the big things that separates me, at least right away here at the university level, I learned the offense really quickly. Spent a lot of like our freshman year. I played as a true freshman, so I mean I learned the offense as fast as we possibly could in fall camp. I mean we were ready to go first game of the season. Um, Physical guy. I love finishing dudes. That's my favorite thing in the world. Anytime I'm freed up in pass protection, you know I'm coming to smoke somebody. I love running the football too, though. Power, double teams, pulling. I love pulling, getting on a guy at the second level and just trying to dominate him that way. It's my favorite thing in the world. Um, but I think I'm adaptable. I can play any position. I can do whatever you ask of me. I love playing O line, man. It's gritty. You don't get a lot of recognition as an offensive lineman, but I kind of like that. We live in the shadows and we do physical work.
Well, hey, I mean, I get it. As a guy there on the offensive line, is there maybe a player in the pros that you study, try to emulate, or maybe even somebody that you're a fan of at your position?
Well, growing up, we're big Steelers fans in my family. My uncle was drafted in 1974. Some Steelers fans would tell you that's the best draft class in NFL history with um, Jack Lambert and Mike Webster and those guys. So,
Mm.
growing up and hearing stories about that team, I loved hearing about Mike Webster. Absolute unit of a man. Not the biggest guy NFL lineman were at the time, but he's a physical, gritty dude. Um, Currently, the guys that I look up to a lot, Quentin Nelson, that's an obvious one. Everybody loves to see him the way he plays on game day. He's kind of a prick on the field, but seems like he'd be a great guy off the field. Uh, Brennan Scherf, as an Iowa kid, looked up to him a lot. I still remember when that video of him hang cleaning at Iowa came out. I was at my buddy's house. The big Iowa fans. That was awesome. But he's a physical guy. And then James Daniels. I know James. His fiance went to high school with me. But I've worked out with James a couple times, and now that he's signed his deal with the Steelers, congrats to him. That's a big deal for him. But he's a really technical guy. James is a very technical player. He uses his hands well. Good pass protector. I look up to him a lot. It's been great to have him as a resource for me. I can shoot him a message, get some technique tips if I ever need that from James. Great guy.
Well, I mean, you never know. Maybe sometime in the future you might end up out there playing alongside him. But I know that there are also a lot of other teams that would be interested in you as well. So let's not limit ourselves so much.
Absolutely.
Um, just kind of wanted to let's just chat about this South Dakota State team. I mean, you're talking about really one of the more dominant offensive lines there in the FCS in your conference. So a lot of guys, a lot of great talent around you. Probably one of, if not the best running back, not only in the FCS but in the country. So let's talk about that offense as a whole, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I think working with Pierre Strong, that's been one of the joys of my career. He's such a good player, and the way that we mesh with him on the field that's what makes us different as a team. I think the offensive line, we're all on the same page. 605 Hogs, that's our deal. One of us could play any position on that line at any time. That's kind of what makes our line special. But then working with Pierre, he has a really good understanding of our blocking schemes as a running back. And I think that's one thing that makes us work really well together and made us work really well together is that being on that same page with him and being able to know where the zone scheme's going and being like we know where Pierre's going to be on the field the whole time. So when I'm at that second level and I'm making a block on a linebacker, I know that if I turn his shoulders and throw him out, Pierre's cutting right inside me. That's that kind of the stuff, that makes that unit work so well. And then young quarterback in Mark Granowski, having him go down in
Hey,
that national championship game was tough. But he'll be a hell of a player in the future. And then Chris Oladokin stepping up and just being a stud for us in that 2021 season. We recruited him for like a month before he actually came up here and started working out with us in the summer and at camp. So just a lot of really really talented guys that made our offense go. Love every single one of those guys, but yeah, it's been a special thing to be a part of that team.
so it seems like a lot of great talented players are actually moving on from South Dakota State, but
Absolutely.
uh, who's remaining, buddy? I mean, you talked about the quarterback there, but I mean, who else is remaining? Because I mean, like I know, like I want to say that there's a lot of offensive linemen leaving. You have an All-American running back leaving. Who's left?
Well, at offensive line, there's Mason McCormick. He's a guard, stout guy. Garrett Greenfield, tackle. They've both been All Americans in the past. Great guys, great players. At quarterback, Mark will be back. Running back, young man Isaiah Davis, absolute talent. He's a stud. On the defensive side of things, Adam Bach, he's a phenomenal linebacker. Quentin Hicks, Reese Winkleman is going to stay for his final season. He's actually in my class, but he got his COVID year back. He'll play one more season for the Jacks. And then Caleb Sanders, phenomenal defensive tackle. He is an absolute freak, weight room guy, just a unit. And then Tucker Kraft as well on the offense, tight end, great player.
Awesome.
Loves the block as a tight end too, physical guy.
I know you guys have a great program. I think those offensive linemen that you mentioned, like they already know that I'm looking at them for next season. So I think I've already been in touch with them already. So, yeah, I mean, it's just great that you guys are able to continue your run. And who knows what's going to happen with you guys like in the future. I mean, heck, again, like I said, you guys are always in the mix for that national title. So we'll see. Maybe you guys will get there once again, next season. So what would you say has been your most memorable moment as a football player there for the Jackrabbits? Like, is it that national championship run, or is there maybe a play or a game that sticks out in your memory?
Yeah, one of my favorite memories from my career as a whole is probably actually in my first start. That's a big one. Playing in the Fargo Dome, it's a really intense atmosphere, super loud. Me and my right tackle had a really nice zone block for Isaac Wallace. Big run down the field, like it's 60 plus, I believe. I can't remember. Huge run. I just remember we were running down the field. I high-fived him while we were jogging towards the end zone. It was a great play. Aside from that, in the Fargo Dome, I'd probably have to go with our semifinals win over Delaware. That was a really big moment for the program and just for our team as a whole, finally making it to that national championship game. And we played a great game against Delaware. It was a good game. There's a clip of me in our center, West Jeanette. He's holding up the nose guard, and I'm cleaned up in protection. I got nothing to do, and I come over and smoked their nose guard as Mark throws a touchdown pass into the end zone. It couldn't have looked better. Great game, really fun memory. The national championship game itself was a great memory. Tough way to go out, especially losing Mark, but just the fact that we made it down there and we played, with Keaton Heidi stepping up and doing a great job at backup quarterback, we gave ourselves a shot to win that football game, and just good memories with the guys.
Yeah, in all reality, that game could have gone either way. So yeah. You get two great programs really duking it out. So again, like I said, you guys could be there next season, and no one would think that as a shocker because you guys are always in the mix. So, Eagan, just for people that don't know the full story of you as an athlete, going back to your days there in high school, you participated not only in football, but in track and field and in some wrestling. So chat very briefly about that and how you feel like that has helped you as a football player.
Yeah, track and wrestling. Wrestling was actually one of my favorite sports participating in when I was in high school. And it was a tough decision to choose whether or not I wanted to wrestle and pursue wrestling as in college recruiting or if I wanted to play football, but ultimately I decided football. Wrestling was great to me. I didn't start wrestling until I was in 8th grade. So that's for wrestlers, that's kind of late. A lot of kids start when they're really young when they're wrestling, but I got into it in middle school and then wrestled for 4 good years in high school. I didn't wrestle varsity until my junior year of high school. We had a couple really good dudes at 285 when I was younger. But so my junior year was my first varsity season. I placed 5th in the state that year. I actually wrestled Tristan Wirfs that year too. I wish I could tell you that I beat him, but he's a strong man. Good guy too. Really great guy. But 5th in the
Tristan
state.
Wirfs, so I get you.
Yeah. Placed 5th my junior year, and then I was runner-up. Got 2nd my senior year. But wrestling's great. Taught me a lot about body control, being flexible, being able to move quickly on the mat. change of direction, that kind of stuff. All things that are applicable to offensive line play. So, and when I started wrestling too, I kind of looked at it as conditioning and just to keep me in shape for football season. But I really
Mhm.
fell in love with it, and I loved wrestling, man.
So now, again, not 285, but now 308. So a pretty decent size there for an offensive lineman. So um, that was more or less what you came in at your pro day. So dude, let's talk about your pro day. I mean, I feel like you did a great job. Talk to me about your take on your pro day as a whole, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I felt pro day was awesome. It was really fun to just be in front of the scouts and be in that kind of pressured environment, just really competing with myself. Had a great day on the bench press. I hit 27 reps. I actually, in my training, I trained myself for the bench because I'm an exercise science student, and I
Mm.
know that kind of stuff. So I love being in the weight room. I love learning about strength conditioning. So I did that on my own. So I can say that I totally own that. But I got my sprint help from Jesse Hines down at Sanford Power. I'm an intern down there as well, so I work for Sanford. But I got help from them. But I thought pro day was a good day. Not exactly PRs in my sprints, but good times that I knew I was going to hit. 27 reps on the bench press. I think I hit what was I at? 768, 769 in my L drill, 5, 6 in my three cone. Or no, 4, 4, 6, 8 in my three cone, and then a
I know it was a lot
five.
of crazy numbers, so you don't have
Yeah,
to.
I know. I got them. I got them all right here, but it was a good day all in all. I loved competing, loved being in front of the scouts, loved watching my guys compete. Felt like it was a good day overall, though.
Yeah, I mean, obviously for an offensive lineman, I mean, we don't care so much about that 40 or some of those other numbers. It really is it's the position drills that I think a lot of guys really want to see you do, and then obviously, like you said, I mean, going out there and punching out 37 reps on that 225 is definitely one of those benchmarks for sure that a lot of people love to get. So. Um, Egan, I know you've had a lot of great coaches along the way, and I kind of want to give you the opportunity to share perhaps maybe one of the best lessons you ever learned from one of those coaches. So whether it be way back in high school or there at South Dakota State, um, is there maybe something that someone has instilled upon you that still rings true today?
Yeah, I think I'm sure. Speaking to some of my former teammates, especially Aaron Johnson, he's probably alluded to this before, but Coach Eck is a man of many analogies. That dude, he's always got something unique to say or an interesting take on a coaching point to help you remember it better. But I think the one thing that I really took away from being around Coach Eck and working with him is that you know it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're giving 100% effort, you're going to be successful. I mean, if you give it everything you got every day, working as hard as you possibly can, you can outwork anybody. And that's kind of the way I come into it as a player. Is that I might not be the best. I might not be the most technical, but I'm gonna outwork you. I'm gonna work as hard as I possibly can. I'm gonna watch the film. I won't be late to any workout. You know, and I think consistency and effort is probably the biggest thing that I took away from being around Coach Eck, learning how to do that, how to hold myself accountable. Yeah, those are the things that he really instilled in us deeply that I've taken away from that program.
Great, and let's get a chance to meet this guy outside of football a little bit. I mean, I see you got the guitars in the background. We could chat about that, or any other hobbies or interests or passions you got in life you want to chat about. So go
Yeah,
for it.
well, being a Midwest kid, fishing, hunting, I love being outdoors. That's always great, especially being up in South Dakota, getting to ice fish for the first time in my life and pheasant hunt. That was great. Um, but aside from the outdoor stuff and the football, I love music. My mom, she brought us up as music kids. I mean, we did show choir, a cappella, honor, like all state honor choir. I play guitar. I've played guitar since, man, third grade. Long time. But I love music. I'll listen to anything. As soon as a song comes on, man, I can tell you the words to almost any song out there. It's crazy. My memory bank of music is deep, and A lot for my parents, but me too as an individual. It's a big hobby of mine. I mean, I can't go throughout my day without listening to music.
Gotcha. A couple of other quick questions. Hopefully, just like a one word kind of answer. So, favorite movie?
Oh man, Departed.
Okay. Um, if you could have one cheat meal or like something like I don't know, like a favorite dinner or what have you, what would that be?
Ooh, pasta carbonara.
Gotcha. Okay. Um, you had mentioned there that you're a big music guy, so I mean, this could go either way, but you have a favorite artist or band or anything?
I'd go with genre, classic rock.
Classic rock. Okay, okay. So like, what are we talking about? Are we talking like Led Zeppelin, or what are we
Oh,
talking about?
80s, Def Leppard, Motley Crue. I love it all. 80s, 70s. It's good stuff.
Awesome. We are definitely kindred spirits in that
Very
regard.
good.
So
Good,
definitely
good, good.
love it. Hey, well, this has been fun sitting down, talking to you, learning more about you as a player and a person. As we wind down this interview, I want to give you one last opportunity. I know that there might be some scouts watching this, so I want you to hit them with your pitch as to perhaps why they need to take a chance on you, sign you, bring you into their franchise, and make you part of their program. So go ahead and hit us with your pitch.
Yeah, well, I think the one thing that I would say is that if you bring me into your program, you're going to get my best effort every day. I'm going to be that kind of guy that if you ask me to jump, I'll say how high and how far do you want me to jump? I'll ask what I can do for you. I understand that as an athlete in the NFL, it is kind of a business, but I want that job. I want to work as hard as I possibly can for you, and I will do whatever you ask of me. Um, I'll show up every day, give my best effort in everything I'm doing. I'll push your guys. I'll make your team better. That's what I do as an athlete, as an individual.
Yeah, I mean, I know what we get with Eagan Lickiss is definitely a Renaissance man that could do a whole lot of different things from, you know, obviously be very physical and violent out there on the football field, and also, be this one guy who can really win us over with like some classic rock, on the guitar or what have you. But I mean, we're also getting a very experienced offensive lineman. I mean, if someone wants to, take a chance on you, I mean, a guy who has played along that offensive line, knows how to be a part of a winning program. Which I feel is very important. I mean, and being able to contribute and be a great team member, something that I know that you can certainly do. Egan, do wish you best of luck in this process, and you take care of yourself, all right?
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you.
Sure, man. Once again, Egan Lickiss, offensive lineman out at South Dakota State. Definitely check him out.